Greetings all. I'd like to welcome you to Chef Tarik, Chef Tarik Cooks. My name is J Yemi. I'm here to bring it with you. We're going to work in tandem. The theme for today is going to be all about breast cancer awareness month. So this is going to specifically go out to the ladies. We play a lot of stuff for the ladies, a lot of R&B. We want to kick it. All right? Get ready.
To the street from my left side, when I recorded yesterday morning, in the late 2000s, it's so glad I'm a ghost in the dream of a wife of a feet from the red shot to the I won't see so rock the light while they do I've been struggling even my lady says home. I'm looking for the change. Hey, I got a brand new sound. Even driving the wrong way. They say it was rolling in.
How many innocent con when I responded full like with us that
ready to do your thing? Tarik? Let's get it poppin'. Hey, baby.
Hey, 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 hey.
I hope you're the only one doing it. Yeah, no help you're the only one here doing it. So, but, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Chef Tarik. I am your host, Chef Tarik. And of course, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I have to introduce our special guest DJ today. We have DJ J Yemi in the building today. How are you feeling, sir? Can't complain. I got life, best gig in town. I hope all y'all are doing well as well. But I'm just real confident just slid in there. Best gig in town. That's what it is. Real talk. It's a little cold today. It is very cold today. Look, today's dish we are making clam chowder. Actually, I say it correctly. Corn clam chowder. So this is gonna be a seafood corn chowder. Play on that. We're gonna show you guys how to do that. We also have a special guest in the building. We have actually two special guests in the building. You guys know all of them basically. It is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We also have raffles we're gonna tell you guys about just in a little bit. We have a lot going on. Jay, you ready to get started?
Yes, I am.
Man, let's get to it. Let's get it poppin'. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Alright, so like I said, we're making a corn chowder today. So this is basically it's gonna be a cream chowder like we did the clam chowder almost 2 years ago. Well, basically 2 years ago at this point. So we're actually gonna get our butter in our pan to get started. Let's get that melting. We're gonna turn our flame down as well. Turn our fan on. And we're gonna season our shrimp. So we're gonna have shrimp and we're gonna have clams in it. We're gonna season our shrimp with some obey. Again, if you're not tagging obey in the chats, people, come on, put the camera on me. If you're not tagging obey in the chats, people, we're gonna add some obey. We'll add some complete seasoning. Now, the one thing that we want to do is we don't want to add a lot of seasoning to our shrimp just because there's already going to be a lot of salt, there's going to be a lot of pepper, and our clams will have a little bit of that saltiness to it already, so we just want to add just a little bit. Let's give this a quick mix. We want to get this inside our pan. And we used about 8 jumbo shrimps just cut up into pieces. We want to get this browning already. In one pan we already have our potatoes getting ready to boil. And we want our potatoes to just a bite. Just to a bite, just so when we add it in, right before we add our cream, they're perfectly cooked and they're not going to be really mushing in our soup. Now we also have our corn. We have about 6 corn on the cob right here, which was already grilled and charred. We're gonna add these
about just at the end, so these are cooked and warm. We want to add the charriness to our soup as well. And we're gonna have some onions. We're gonna have some celery into this. And we have our butter inside. So when we create our roux, it's just going to help everything bind together. And we'll add more butter into it a little bit later. So we have DJ Yemi here today. Now, Yemi, what is it do you go by? Do you go by DJ J Yemi? Or is it just
J Yemi? The reason why it's J Yemi is because I also do a lot of music production as well. So really, I just say J Yemi because there's a J Yemi Productions.
Okay.
Okay. You can find me on. I have a Mixcloud, I have a SoundCloud as well. Do a variety of different types of productions. I do Afro house, I do house music, I do funk music, I do R&B music. So a variety of stuff. And really, it's just a conjunction of my daughter's middle name and my first son's middle name.
Okay, that's dope.
So I just put them together, just legacy set.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we want to get to know you as well.
Yeah.
Tell us where you're from and how you get into music.
Let's see. I'm originally from New York City, born and raised in Brooklyn. I made my way here to Rhode Island in like 1986. How did I get into music? Good question. Actually, the first experience in music is just hanging out with mom. Mom getting her cups, playing the music, breaking out the albums. Put this song on, put that one on. So that's really where the love first began. I played violin in 3rd grade.
Violin?
Yeah, of all things. Played trumpet in junior high school. Didn't stick with either one of them because with the violin, you get the neck thing. With the trumpet, you get the sole lips. So to me, neither one of them were cool instruments. Not that I dislike any of the instruments. They sound beautiful in the hands of someone who has a passion for it. Me on the other hand didn't have a passion for that. Growing up, seeing old funk bands in the funk era, I wanted to either play bass, play guitar, play something cool, something that could be out front. So that's how I ended up getting to music. So there's a part of me. I actually started playing live music at first. I actually got into DJing later on in life. I worked in the nightclubs, variety of nightclubs here in the Providence area. A lot of the bones that I made with my DJing, I made here in Providence. A lot of you guys might have heard about Club Algiers, a couple of public clubs, large clubs in the Providence area. I started out as a bouncer, and then one day I just happened to ask the person in charge of the DJing. I said, hey, I want to learn how to be a DJ. He said, you want to learn that? So I started learning how to DJ. He used to have me go down to another club that they owned, and I used to practice for a half hour, and then eventually I reached the point where I would play the first 2 hours, and then one day he told me, he said, we're going to have this guy named DJ Buck come down. You got to see him, he's real nice. And that was a name I always heard. It always resonated. I used to always hear a lot of people talk about him. My wife at that time used to talk about him, said he went to school with her, and that he was really good. He was a hot DJ in the area. So when he came in, and I saw him finesse the tables, I was like, all right, this is the cat right here. You know what I mean? So I always knew by watching him that you had to get the dance floor popping. Okay. And then I started off playing house. Really, the first thing I had my first club gig. Really, I was playing house music at a club called the Tunnel. Then Tunnel eventually became Club Algiers, and had Polyester became a multi-club. But my first experience really came from playing house music, and then eventually ended up getting my own night over at a club called Algiers, where I was playing a college night on Thursday nights. And usually my numbers didn't go down. I used to have like maybe up to 1,200 people after a while when I was really hot. But you'll find here in Providence, there's a lot of politics that goes into nightclubs. They'll tell you, don't play music for the brothers. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So when you go into a situation, you have to be yourself. So eventually I reached the point where I said, you know what? I know I'm only going to be here for so long. I got to be myself until I lasted there for maybe 3 years. And they go like, we got to let you go on, man. The brothers, when the brothers come in, they don't like the tip. They just going to buy their Heineken and leave 50 cents on the bar. The bartenders don't like that. So that's what I experienced. There's a lot of politics when you're working in the nightclub. So a lot of my musical experience really didn't come from being in the bedroom. I learned hands-on in the club. Someone taught me. Back in those days, we didn't have this right here. I think Robbie was telling that story last time he was here.
Yeah.
We didn't have all of this. You had to sit down with your record, look at your clock, about BPMs, put the tape there, bring 4 or 5 crates with you, line up with your game plan, your plan of attack for the evening, and you had to go with it. You know?
Really needed a team back then because you needed people to come help you carry them crates in.
But guess what? If you worked in the nightclub, you didn't have no team. It was only after I started DJing, I actually, because I didn't have time to really just hype the mic.
Yeah.
One night, somebody came in that happened to be, I found out later was a relative of my wife. This guy named Corey Isom. I don't know if Corey Isom still, shout out to Corey Isom. He came on the mic one day and he was just like, yo man, let me get on the mic and hype it. I said, yeah, go ahead. Because I had a light show, I had fog, I had all these things. And when he got on the mic and started hyping it, that's when my show was off the hook. Nothing like the feeling of being in the club and you got everybody lockstep and they throw their hands up in the air and you're like, yeah, I got them.
Yeah.
So that was my experience. I made a lot of my bones, like DJ bones here in Providence, Rhode Island. So.
Look, and also shout out to DJ Arson for hooking us up with J Yemi on today's show.
He's in the house.
He said
That's what made it in the cut.
That's one of the guests today.
Okay.
Question? What's up?
Can you use canned corn if you don't have corn in the cob?
Can you use canned corn? You can, but I would prefer to use corn on the cob. So basically what I did with the corn on the cob, well, actually before I get that, we added our onions in, we added our celery. We have about 2 small onions. If you have 1 big onion, that's perfectly fine. And we added about 3 pieces of celery, just chopped down, diced. And we added a little bit more butter. We're gonna add our flour in just to get our roux started. And we'll just kind of judge on how much roux we need, just to see how thick it is. Now, usually with chowder, depending on who's making it, you know it's thick. If it gets too thin, you want to make sure you thicken it up with some roux. But you see, it's just getting brown. It's just soaking up all the butter. And we're gonna add in our vegetable stock. We have vegetable broth today, but vegetable stock, vegetable broth. And our stock's just gonna basically just soak up all the flour and butter from the bottom of the pan, all that goodness. And just gonna start thickening it up. We're gonna actually add 1 jar of clam juice as well right now. But basically with our corn. So with our corn, what I did was I took our corn, it was actually already shucked from the stores. I basically just threw a little bit of oil on and grilled it on all sides just to get the little charness so you guys can see the little dark ends. And with our corn, I just basically just shredded it with the knife, just kind of just cut on the sides and just basically just kind of just shredded all the corn down. You can use canned corn, but I would say corn on cob is better to use for this.
So what's the difference between the canned corn? Is it just the grilling?
I mean,
just the smokiness from the grill?
I mean, canned corn is just, processed and it has all the juice inside of it, so you just have to kind of just strain it out. Regular corn, I did the grilling just because I wanted to get the charness to it. You don't have to actually do that. You can boil it and cut it down. You cut it down and just kind of throw it in whatever you want. But I decided myself to kind of grill it, so that was just more of my decision. But we're gonna let that just come up to a boil, let that cook. Our potatoes. About 1-2 more minutes on our potatoes, and we'll let that go. And we'll drain that. Now our potatoes, we're gonna strain our water, but we're gonna save the water just in case we want to add something back into our soup, just in case it gets too thick. We're gonna add just some liquid. We can either add some more clam juice, we can add some more veg broth, we can add some water from our potatoes, because our potatoes is gonna give that just more starch and just more flavor to it anyway. But now, Yemi, you also said you owned a record store, or you worked at a record store.
No, I worked at a record
You
store.
worked at a record store.
Yeah. That was, I'm sure everybody here, I know Lad knows about that too. High Tone Records was kind of like a meeting place. You remember High Tone, right? Robbie? High Tone was where everybody used to hook up. Yeah, I've actually, almost all the DJs in the Providence area probably at some point worked at High Tone Records. So that's where.
Who were some of the DJs that came through there?
Oh, before I even tell you that, let me send a shout out to my man Glenn Robinson. Glenn, if you're in the house, long time brother. Hope all is well with you and yours. Let's see, Ty used to come through there. Rad used to come through there. Austin used to come through there. I think you worked there at one point, didn't you? I worked there at one point.
Every DJ in Rhode Island.
Yeah, just about.
Royal Roy.
Yeah, everybody came through there. Buck came through there. Everybody came through there. So that was like the spot where all of us were kind of like. One thing I must say, that there's a lot of camaraderie with the DJs that were in Providence. Nobody really hated on one another. If someone wanted to know what was going on, like, yo, who's down playing down the so-and-so? Oh, Fred the Great is down there. That's another person who used to come through the store all the time. Matter of fact, I think Fred the Great worked at one of the, remember, Glenn's brother had opened up a High Tone down. Remember there was a High Tone downtown at one time, a small one they had down there?
Yeah,
That's for a hot month and hot minute, right?
Yeah, across from, it's near that strawberry here.
Yes, it was near the old Strawberry.
You worked in another High Tone too, though. I don't know
Yeah,
if
he
it was
had one
High
out in
Tone.
Newport.
Okay, yeah,
brother had
that's
one
how I
out
met
in
you in the.
How many stores do they have?
At one point, I think they had 3 stores.
Yeah,
Glenn was quite the
Yeah, one in
entrepreneur, him and his brother.
Onlyville, Broad Street,
Yes.
downtown,
Florida.
and Newport.
To the
Yeah,
store.
but I don't think they was all open at the same time.
No, they weren't. I think one closed down at one point and they opened up
I
another
met you from the Newport store.
one. Nah, brother.
No, when I
Met you
first met
Providence.
you, you was working in Newport. You was
See,
going back and forth.
this is
Oh,
what happens when you have
okay,
gems
yeah.
just go back and forth with each other.
Yeah.
It's so long ago. They're like, no, you're not this group. No,
Let me
this
tell you-
one.
Yeah, but you know something, let me tell you how small Providence is. I knew about Robbie before I met Robbie because my wife at the time worked with his mother at the post office.
Okay.
So she said, I found out that her son is Robbie. He went to school with Robbie. He's a DJ. I was like, really? I said, I think I might have met him down at the record store. So Providence is everything is so interconnected. Well, I wanted something to Providence as well. I wanted to send my condolences to the Threats family, Nibbit Threat. Probably the king of the bass players here in Providence, Rhode Island. All of us at one point have come across him. Big inspiration for everybody. I remember I ended up taking over Vivid's bass spot that he had with Dreamcatcher, Gina Wesley's Dreamcatcher band. You never really know how much someone touches your life or how much they contribute to your self-development until they're gone. So I just wanted to send a shout out to him. And all the bass players that come in contact with him. I saw my man Kobe Peace. Kobe had said in an Instagram post, rest in power, and I'm gonna say the same to my man up above. Rest in power, my brother.
Yes.
So, J Yemi, someone has a question for you.
Yes.
They want to know how being a musician helped you being a DJ.
Wow, good question. That's a very good question. I can tell you how it helped me being a DJ. When you start DJing, you start to learn that when you're mixing songs, that if you have one song that happens to be, let's say, in the crescendo of the song or the peak of the record, that's when you want to decide to, let's say, bring in the opening intro from another song. The other thing that helped me too these days, a lot of DJs, especially when it comes to house music, is the principle of mixing in key. Where if you have 2 records, you want to mix, bring in another song that happens to be in a relative key. Like let's say if I'm mixing a song that happens to be in A minor, I have a choice of bringing another song that might happen to be in a major key or a relative major key of A minor, okay? So it helps tremendously. Not to mention that when you're a musician, it's easy for you to discern what the bass line is, what the guitar line is, what the drum line is.
Yeah. So your ears are just sharper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're more in tune to what's happening musically inside of the music, and that actually, now that I think about it, helped me a lot.
Yeah.
I learned I was a musician before I was a DJ.
So what would you say is your DJ style? Like, you know, we have like, you know, just straight R&B, or you have just straight hip hop.
You know something? I would have to say I could stick. I think all DJs have a specific format that they favor, but I consider myself an open format only for the simple reason that when I worked for the nightclub, when I worked for Kent Management, like I told you, which happened, they happen to own all clubs all over. I would have to go to, let's say, one of their clubs that they owned in Worcester, where you would have white people in one corner, black people in another corner, Puerto Ricans in another corner, and you would have to know, okay, the Puerto Ricans are gonna dance to the pop music. It was very, you had to know what you were doing, and it's only when you're an open format DJ that you understand those things. So I consider myself open format, because when you're open format, you have to be able to look at a crowd, take a good guess at the age of the people, take a good look at how they dress. Most people will dress according to what it is. People will usually, how you say, associate themselves with a particular group.
And that's even something that DJs said before when they get into, when I asked them, you know, if do they set like playlists for when they go to the club, they say no, because it's on how the crowd is.
Exactly.
So it's a younger crowd, they know what to go with. There's the older crowd, it's a little classier format party, you know, they know what to go with.
Although, when you're an in-house DJ and you know who your crowd is, you can get away with playing a specific set of records. Because I can remember on 2 occasions, and shout out to Fred the Great, shout out to my man Ty. They happened to come into the club with me one day when I was opening the club. And I always had the strategy that if I'm going to be in the club, I always play for the ladies first. You play for the dudes first, the dudes are going to hug the ball, they're going to go hard. You play hip hop for them, they're going to stay on the wall, they're going to bounce, and the women are going to stay on the side like, oh, what is this? I always play for the women first. When you bring the ladies to the dance floor, everybody else comes to the dance floor. Okay. Am I right, Arson?
For sure.
Yeah. Play for the ladies first. Always play for the ladies. The ladies will always get the party popping. The ladies have no fear to come out and dance. Even if it means there's going to be 4 or 5 women in a group in a circle, they're going to dance to the dance floor first. Okay. So I always hit them with the R&B first. So everybody has their own little strategy. You know
Talk about freestyle. Freestyle was big in the 80s.
Yeah, freestyle was big in the 80s. And you know, some freestyle to me had kind of like a simplicity to it where it was a steady beat. Yeah. And it's similar to house in that respect. But quite honestly, me personally, I hated freestyle music. I couldn't damn freestyle music. Too much of the same thing to me.
Yeah.
Quick question. You said you was a bouncer, right?
Yes,
Let's get into that.
Okay, why you
about like, did you know how to fight or something? Like, you know, let's get into that.
He wants to get into that aspect of it.
Yeah, he got another side. He got a whole nother side.
I don't think these two should be in the same room with each other.
No, because that's why he came.
No, he got another side. He got another side.
A lot of people you didn't get into that. See, he asked me.
I used to love going to the club with this guy. Because I knew I was well protected.
Hey, shout out to us bouncers. You got three bouncers in here. You former bouncer.
Yeah, shout out to all of them. Shout out to my people that I came out that were my cronies when I was in the nightclub. Shout out to Paul McCarthy. Shout out to my man Lee, call him AKA the Pitbull. Shout out to them. We all worked in the club together. What Robbie's trying to get into is the fact that I also have the martial arts background. I've been studying martial arts since I was 12 years old. Okay. And
just got real in here.
Is it like the Detroit survival guy, or is it like real?
No. I trained on the Japanese instructor. I still teach to this day. I teach in a public school in New York City part time. I also teach at the YMC on a regular basis, both here in Providence, and I've also done it in New York City, various YMCs.
He was also going to Philly too, right? Doing like
Kata
and
What else you want to tell me?
Look, DJ by name, throwing people out the club by name.
Actually, I'll be honest with you. I had a reputation of being a peacemaker. So. Okay.
Shout out to Joe Vons. Me and Lad was up there kicking people out on a regular basis, telling people to tuck in their shirts.
I have a story about Joe Vons too.
Look,
let him finish.
Look, as they were going on, so we actually made some roux just to help thicken our soup up. I added in our clams, so you can see it's just starting to just thicken up, and this is exactly how we want it. We're gonna turn down our heat just a little bit, and just let everything keep going. We'll season it with some salt. We'll season it with some pepper. I also strained our potatoes. We also want to just make sure we're watching how much salt and pepper we're adding to our soup, because we want to get too salty. All right, just a little bit of pepper. Look, Now we also have Battle of the Chefs coming up. Chef Kayla versus Chef Diggums in November. Chef Kayla on her way back from Colombia in what, 2 weeks? No. Actually, next week. I think it's 2 weeks. Honestly.
You sure she didn't extend it?
I don't know. Kayla, if you're in the chat, did you extend it again? But J Yemi, so we have a thing we do called Battle of Chefs. We have two chefs battle it out, see who's the better cook and stuff. You know, we have DJs. We have secret ingredients that we give to each contestant.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so
So there's someone else that knows how to cook and just as good as you?
surprisingly.
Oh, all right.
So I'm not in this one, but we have two good friends of mine who are really good cooks.
Okay.
Going at it. What's some crazy ingredients you think you should give them?
Crazy ingredients?
Yeah, it could be crazy as sardines to
Interesting.
Lay's potato chips.
Turmeric.
You know what I'll say? Because I'm into Caribbean cooking as well. I'm good at curry chicken. Throw some green seasoning in something. Because you know green seasoning is the type of thing you put too much, you can ruin the recipe.
Green seasoning?
Green seasoning. It's already pre-made in a bottle. You'll find that Guyanese people will cook their curry with green seasoning, where some other people might just cut the green seasoning up themselves, the onions and the green peppers and so forth.
Okay.
But you can buy the green seasoning in a bottle. I'm talking, give me my little. Arson knows how to cook too. So, you know, you can also get green seasoning in the bottle. I think that's a good ingredient to provide people. You know what I mean?
Green seasoning.
Yeah.
Okay, look, everyone in the chat, make sure y'all putting y'all secret ingredients for them. I want to hear what y'all think they should have. We're going to add our potatoes in now. And now, it is also Breast Cancer Month, like you've been saying. You guys see I have my breast cancer apron on. Now, we did get up to a little late start with, but next Sunday is the Breast Cancer Walk, downtown Providence. If you guys would like to join our team, you guys are more than welcome. Link is in the bio, but this is what we have to throw out to you guys. We have some news for you. We're going to have 2 raffles. We have one will be a breast cancer awareness wreath. The other one is a 3-piece picture set. How can you win these raffles? I'll tell you now. You must donate to. Oh, he's in his bag first. He's in his bag. First, you must donate towards breast cancer awareness on our team. The links are on Instagram and Facebook. It'll be on YouTube as well after this goes up. You guys also must join our team and be able to, you don't have to walk, but if you join our team and donate to breast cancer awareness, you can enter the raffle. Any donations are possible. Now, if you guys have trouble trying to donate towards on the links, you guys can either Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, or hand me cash. My Cash Apps are in the links in the pin on Instagram. So, again, the raffles are a breast cancer awareness wreath. He's still in his bag. He's grooving over here. He's grooving.
That Chef Tarik dance. Do it again.
But again, so the raffles are a breast cancer awareness wreath or a 3-piece breast cancer picture set. The way you can win is by donating to breast cancer awareness. The link is in our bio and joining our team. That's how you enter. And we'll be doing the raffles next Sunday. If you have trouble donating on the website, you guys can Cash at me, which is in the links, in the pins, and on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Or you guys can do Zelle, Venmo, or Cash. So those are the ways you guys can enter into the raffle. We'll be doing the drawing next Sunday after the walk. We have it in our potatoes. We're gonna go ahead and add our corn.
Now, is there a specific order that you put everything in?
Into our soup.
Yeah.
So I basically started to brown our shrimp. So we went shrimp, then onions, get that sweated. Then our celery. And then we started our roux. And roux, flour, half equal parts flour, equal parts fat, which is butter. And you guys also see this is getting probably a little too thick. So we'll just add some liquid. And then we added our clams, our potatoes, then our corn.
What can you do if it gets too thin?
If it gets too thin, you create a roux. So what I did was I seen it was getting a little thin. I created our roux with our butter and our fat. Quick in a different pan. Now the one thing that is always a mistake from honestly just regular cooks or just chefs is that if you have something that's thin, you want to just throw flour or just cornstarch or anything into it and think it's gonna help it. No, what it does is our flour actually just clumps up into our soup basically. So if you create your roux and then add it into our soup as it's boiling, then everything is mixing in properly. That's one thing I still do, even though I know I should be making a roux basically.
So the roux's 1-to-1, right?
Yes. Some recipes you can do a little more butter, a little less flour. Some say a little. Depends on your preference, but the normal recipe is equal parts flour, equal parts fat. Then you do 2 cups flour, 2 cups fat, as long as it's equal parts basically. And it depends on how much you need for your recipe. Or I can make 1 cup of flour. I can do 1 cup of each, and I see I need more. I can just do another quick one on that side basically.
When you started that roux right there,
Yeah.
did you already have like the meat in there or
Inside our soup.
inside the roux? Like when you did the roux, or you did the roux by itself?
So when I started the soup, I had the shrimp in it. And there was butter already in. So then from there, I added the flour to help to create the roux. When you have meat,
I don't know if I can do that. Because I'll have definitely clumps of flour.
but that's okay because if you have clumps when you're first starting, you're adding your liquid in anyway. So you're gonna stir the clumps out of it. If you're doing it on the side, if you have some clumps, you can kind of add it slowly, basically. If roux also work really well with using meats. If you're browning, a steak, some pork or bacon and stuff, because all that it already has a bunch of fat inside of it already. So all that fat is gonna be on the bottom. So once you add that flour, it's just gonna start to just come together.
Yeah. Every time I made a roux, we just did it in the pan, the flour and the butter. I wouldn't even think about putting anything else in there because I want to get it right.
Yemi, we didn't even talk about some of your foods that you like to eat either. We know you don't eat any pork or anything.
No, I don't even eat pork. I can tell you my favorite recipes I like to cook.
Okay.
Which just happens to be a variety.
Y'all also see how his hat went from the front to the back. Too. He was in his groove. He had to switch it back for a second.
I'm good at pepper soup, which is a Nigerian dish, and I have a recipe of my own where I actually know how to do the pepper soup without lighting up the whole house with a bunch of steam. I know how to do it in a crock pot. I have one custom recipe that called pepper soup in a crock pot. I also do my own special. You'll find that everybody cooks their curry chicken a different way.
Yes.
I do my curry chicken in a crock pot. I prefer not to have the bone with it. After a certain age, your teeth start to get all bone stuff. I can do without it, right? I just want the meat, I want the protein. So I'm good with curry chicken. I'm big on chili. I love chili. I got my own way that I like to cook my chili. I'm good with those. Like my three, I can say my favorites.
Okay. How you go with chili, right?
Yeah, of course. I got that award-winning chili.
Man, I love me some chili. I eat chili 5 days a week. I'm good with some chili. And let me think about fish. What fish do I usually like? When it comes to seafood,
Salmon.
oh yes, that's it. Salmon. That's the move for me. Salmon. I'm good with salmon. I like flounder, although it's kind of hard to get like a nice meaty fillet of flounder. Flounder's kind of like not a lot. And I love bluefish. You know about bluefish.
Yeah.
Bluefish
Bluefish is tough. tough to cook.
Yeah, you gotta know how to marinate it.
The last time I cooked bluefish, I got marinated with mayonnaise.
Yeah, I
And I
remember
put it in Reynolds wrap.
I was at your house tonight.
And then I put it in the oven.
Yeah.
But I just recently I had
Go on that side.
smoked bluefish.
Yeah. Go on that side.
No, I didn't do it. I bought it.
Oh, all right.
I bought some smoked bluefish. It was like tastes like you should put it in a salad or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Like you couldn't eat it as a meal, but it was good. And bluefish is,
Oh, okay.
it's an oily type fish.
But like you said, if you know how to grasp the oil,
Right. You put the mayonnaise. I think the mayonnaise takes the oil out of the fish.
Yeah. Take the gaminess out. Yeah.
I got something for you though.
What's that?
I told you I had something for you. I'll be right back.
All right. 2 seconds. All right. He on his DJ thing. See, this is the thing when DJs get together, they start talking.
Well, we also have another special guest. If you're ready to come up, we also have. Is it DJ Lad? Is it Lad? He got so many different names. Man. Come on, man. Bad Lad.
That's not the move now. He's on a different lane.
Bad
Different
Lad.
lane.
Welcome to the show, man.
Well, thank you for having me. It's not Bad Lad. It's not DJ Bad Lad. How about that? I got my own equipment. I don't own equipment.
You have so many things you do.
Yeah. Well, listen. I was actually shout out to my man Ben, please delete. He called me a Renaissance man, which I humbled and honored. But I tell people it's hip hop. I grew up at the inception in hip hop, so I tell people all the time at the early stages it was like a job fair. You tried everything. You tried a little bit of b-boying, you tried a little bit of grab, you tried a little bit of DJing, and you found your niche. You know what I mean? So I found my niche in rapping mainly because I couldn't afford DJ equipment. That stuff was expensive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially back then, because it was more pieces. It wasn't just a controller and a laptop. You needed your own system. You needed speakers. You needed an amp. You needed receivers. You needed crates. So like, I didn't have the money. I was a broke little kid. You know what I mean? I was young. So what I gravitated towards was the MC. You know what I mean? And watching how they controlled the crowd and stuff like that. And I was lucky enough to have cats who were already immersed in the game at its early inception, who kind of took me under the wing, such as Austin. I spent a lot of time in Austin's house, and he taught me not just the hip hop aspect of it, but the musical aspect. He taught me how to write in a verse. He taught me what it measures. Right? That's what we call it. We didn't call them bars back then. Measures. You know what I mean? I learned the term measures.
And that's
from
the
Austin.
same thing with, as far as being a musical,
Right.
Because you gotta count the
Right, you gotta count the measures.
measures.
You gotta count the.
You gotta know when to come in.
Right. So to what the MC refers to as bars now, I was introduced to the term as measures. You know what I mean? And so he taught me 16 measures to a verse. You know what I mean? So I learned the fundamentals. But if I did my homework per se that he gave me, he would let me play on the tables a little bit. You know what I mean? So and even then it was a teachable moment. So if he was letting me go on the tables, I still had to do it right. You know what I mean?
Can you break that down? What a bar is? Because everybody, common folk don't know what bars are.
You hear rappers talk about bars, and they kind of use it in a twofold way. When they talk about, sometimes when they say bars, they're just talking about their raps and how good they are. But bars or measures refers to the counts in a song. So most songs use a quarter pattern, right? So that one. So if you hear what you hit back, 1, 2, 4, 1. Right, that beat, right? It's 4 into each measure. There's 4, right? So 1, 2, 3.
One
4.
bar.
That was one measure or one
Okay.
bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2. That's 2. You know what I mean? So every time you get back to the 1 after 4, that starts a new measure or a new bar. So if you take that, if you can take that, process that, and count that, and just put on your favorite rap song or something, you'll see the average verse has 16 of them.
16 bars.
Which equates 8 rhymes.
Yeah.
Right? Which equates to 8 rhymes, because it's each bar you got an intro set up, and then the second bar is the rhyme that's gonna tie it all together. You know what I mean? So I learned all that. I learned about sampling and original songs and being appreciate different genres of different songs that they use for sampling. So like I learned a lot from being in Arson's house. I learned a lot from sitting in on at DJ Buck's house Magical Four writing sessions and stuff like that. I learned a lot being in Danny Sykes' house, and these were the vanguards, these were the gatekeepers early on when our culture had nowhere to be showcased. Black radio wasn't even playing us. You understand what I'm saying? Our parents despised what we had, and they can remember that hearing from our elders that what we were listening to was a fad. I need anybody that's like in your 30s to really process that. Like there was a time that they told us the music y'all are listening to wouldn't even exist. It was gonna just go out in like 3 years. But we knew as kids, we knew what we felt when we went to these jams, when we went to these basement parties, when we converged to celebrate the culture. We knew how it made us feel. We knew there was no way this is going away. But how do you tell your parents, you know what I mean, without sounding disrespectful? So, you just keep pushing and fighting a good fight. And if it wasn't for those guys, like I tell them all the time, they saved my life. They saved my life. Hip hop came to me at a very crucial time. I lost my mother 6 months before I grabbed my first microphone and perform my raps in the show. And those 6 months in between that, it was tough. I was numb. I was 11. I just lost my mother. You know what I mean? So I didn't know how to process any of this. And this was at a time where therapy in the black community wasn't a thing. It wasn't even talked about. It was taboo. So there was no avenue for me to find therapy in that in the traditional way. So I found it totally by accident and organically through the performances. So to every person that allowed me in their home and taught me a piece of this culture, I'm forever grateful because it did. It saved my life and it allowed me to do a lot of the things that I do now. When they say you do everything, I don't do everything. I just know I learned everything. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's good. Because it's really it's been a great journey. So.
As you're going forward too.
Yeah, right. Because now I'm doing comedy now, which is a whole new medium for me, but equally as rewarding. Right? It's a craft. You know what I mean? And being able to see folks excel in their craft or just immerse themselves in the craft, and I think because I've jumped into something that's totally out of my comfort zone, I'm respecting just craftsmen more. Just any craft, right? Cooking, mechanics, whatever. Like I'm really appreciating those who take time to appreciate and understand their craft. You know what I mean? Because that is, I will say that is the one thing that does bother me, that for the most part in our culture, there's a contingency of people who didn't get in it for the craft. They don't see it as such. And as such, they don't, the product is different. The product's always going to be different. From those who respect it as a craft to those who just see it as a means for income, right? They're gonna pump it out in volume. The ones that want it for money, they're gonna pump it out in volume. They're gonna saturate it, right? The ones that love it for the craft, they're gonna take the time, right? They're gonna walk through the steps. They're gonna tell you why you could do it this way, but maybe you should do it this way. This is why I do it this way. Exactly what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Look, the same thing we did today. Look, show you everything, tell you why we do it. So
right, you know what I mean? And I tell people all the time, and I think at its basis, the best medium to apply it. I always tell people all the time, when it comes to craft, you never realize how bad how good somebody is until you show somebody that can't do it. So take that. Let's stop here, right? You think cooking food is easy until you taste somebody's food that can't cook. You're like, right. Oh, Tarik can really cook. If you have this dude in your kitchen all the time, you don't know what it's like to have bad food. You know what I mean? So you get kind of spoiled. And you're like, oh no, food's open. I can do that. And then you take somebody who can't cook and you're like, oh. So, same thing with DJing, same thing with MCing, same thing with comedy, same thing with any craft, you know what I mean? And to those of you who are out there listening, like, if you feel as though like you at a point where you're stagnant in what you're doing in terms of the craft, maybe you need to review how you treat it like a craft, or you just treat it like a commodity, or you just treat it as a way And that's cool. Like if you're just chasing it for the bag, I get it. We live in times where you need the money. I get it. But
Quick question.
yeah.
Why did you get into rapping back in the day?
I lost
For me,
no, honestly, I lost my mother, right? And it was so you guys were, this was early on. Y'all was still figuring it out. I don't even think we had a name for it yet. I don't think it was called hip hop yet. I think we was just doing what we was doing, right? And there was a lot of emotions inside me. And I was overall just kind of numb, right? Because I didn't know how to process anything. It wasn't, it's unexpected, right? Lost my mother was unexpected. So I'm searching, trying to find my way as an 11-year-old kid who just tragically lost his mother, and how do I move forward? How do I find some sort of normalcy, right? And then Butch Career, shout out to Butch Career, hosted annual talent shows at the South House Boys and Girls Club. And it was always a big event. It was always a big event. It was always on the Sunday before February vacation. So, because they would have a party afterwards for the kids, so then now you can stay late because it's school tomorrow, right? And it was always a big thing. And shout out to Butch, because Butch curated and ran these talent shows. And then these talent shows, he would have auditions. So this would be like a 3 to 4 month process. 4 months prior to the talent show, he has auditions. And it tells you whether or not you're good enough to even be on the show, which is something we're missing. Like, honestly, I think they need to bring that back, but neither here nor there. You make the cut, and now you're going to practice. And you're practicing your performance for 3 months, essentially. And he's there guiding you, and he had enough just pure talent to maybe not be able to know how to rap, but know how to, this is how you can polish it. You know what I mean? And he taught what he knew, his stage presence, and he shared it with everybody, whether they were singing, whether they were rapping, whatever they were doing. He helped polish everybody, and then now when showtime comes, you got a great show.
I got a
To your question, I do that, and I'm nervous. And shout out to Rosita. It was Rosita's show. She let me come on and with her, and I messed up every practice. Like, I don't think Butch even wanted me to be in the show.
I got a
She was
talent
like,
show
"You
from
do,
'88.
you go," and I did it, and I was loud, and they barely heard me, but they clapped, and the reception was enough for me to want to go back and hear me out.
I got a talent show from '88 on videotape.
Really?
I need to post it. Yeah. There you go.
Okay, I'm in that.
Yep.
Wow.
Lee,
Wow.
at the time, Lee was my MC.
Okay, yeah, shout out to Lee.
We had on hockey jerseys,
Yep.
and I think he was doing some old crazy dance back in the day.
Sounds
He
alright.
was a dancer. He was, I don't know.
I think we did it all,
He was
man.
doing
Like,
dances, and everybody was like, "What the hell is that?"
yeah, listen, I was lucky enough to have a crew, you know what I mean? So when you got a crew of cats, you got talent from all angles, you know what I mean? And at the time, shout out to BIT, it wasn't just rappers and DJs. We had craft writers, we had we had screenplay writers, you know what I mean? Folks that dealt with clothing, so like we had all kind of avenues locked, you know what I mean, and dialed in, so everybody had their lane, and we tried to make sure we had the best available at each one of those type of avenues, you know what I mean? We wanted to make sure if the dude that was making our merchandise wasn't the best, he was one of the best. Dude DJing or making our beats was the best, he was one of the best, and it allowed us to really make some noise, and we had an important time because we was a crew. We were pre-Wu-Tang. We were pre-Wu-Tang, but we had as many rappers as Wu-Tang. It was a group of us all looking for individual success, while understanding let's come together under this team concept, right? And everybody, when I tell the story, they kind of look at me funny when I go, we was in Wu-Tang before Wu-Tang, but I'm telling you, when we was BIT, we opened up for the Jizza and the Genius, for the Genius and RZA when they were Rakim and the Genius, when they just had solo careers before they even started Wu-Tang. You know what I mean? So
What's BIT?
BIT Boat Island Troopers. That was a group that I started right as I was getting out of high school, It was in the middle of the crack epidemic, and there was a lot of profiling going on through our local police, and they lumped us all together. And I understood why they needed to crack down. I don't hold any ill will to that. I understand, but they lumped all of us together, and I knew enough guys that were like me that weren't like that, right? Like just good black kids. That we weren't perfect, but we were good kids, and I wanted to show that there could be a crew of black kids that ain't out here selling drugs, that are in fact actually doing things with our community. So I just I made an open invitation to a bunch of people, like-minded people like myself, and I said, look, just give me a half hour of your time, meet me at the South Providence Boys and Girls Club. I got a pitch idea I want for you. And I didn't write anything down, I just kind of went up the cuff and I explained basically what I just explained to you to them. I was like, yo, I want a crew that reflects the opposite of what they think. And I invited about 40 brothers, and when the meeting was over, 7 stayed. And then that 7 grew to 20, 22, and once we were a full-blown movement, we were doing everything from community cleanups to working in conjunction with rec centers and doing events with them, to having our own parties that came with discounts at the door if you brought in canned goods. And then we would take the canned goods and distributed them to Amos House, St. Michael's Church. And we did all this with no adult supervision. This was just a bunch of kids with some energy and was able to focus it in the right way. But we also it was also centered around the culture. So yeah, we had our rappers, we had our crews, and we were doing shows too. So we were making an impact not just in the hip hop culture, but in the community as well. And it was a hell of a ride. And there garnered me some brothers in the process. You know what I mean? Because to this day we still love, and it garnered the VIT garnered the likes of Dwayne Boo Hackney, Sal Montero, QA Husband, and these are all folks that are integral pieces in our community. I'm sure everybody knows Boo Boo's responsible for a lot of things in our community. One of his late is the red, black, and green stripe down Prairie Avenue, the Pan-African stripe. Sal Montero running the Nonviolence Institute. He's doing big things. QA Husband has been at community prep charter school right in our neighborhood for years, and has done an excellent job and has cranked out and nurtured some great young minds that are adults now making great moves. So I'm proud and honored and blessed to have a fraternity of brothers that we came up on the positive end. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Look, we're gonna get into our soup. We got our seafood corn chowder soup. It's all nice and hot, ready for you guys. Now, you gonna try something?
I'm gonna try some. Look at, because I don't eat seafood. I told your dad I can order that. I'm a crap date, but I'm a have some.
We're gonna bring this over to
I might eat around the seafood, but I want to try it. I like soup, stews, and chilies, so I try the broth and see what we're talking about.
Look, Yemi's gonna try it and let us know.
What makes it wonderful is how he seasons it. So this right here, this is almost like a clam chowder as well.
It's what it is, but it's the difference with the corn and the shrimp, basically.
Right. You know what you're missing, bro.
Yeah, listen, no, I
He gonna get a bowl. He gonna get a bowl. Look, we gonna get into our announcements throughout the show up. Of course, next Sunday, we won't be in a kick, but we'll be downtown Providence doing our breast cancer awareness walk that we do for the past, 7, 8, 9 years, about that. If you guys like to join our team, come walk with us. Please do. If you guys like to donate, please do. But there's incentives to donating and joining the team. Like I said earlier, we have 2 raffles, a breast cancer wreath and a three pitcher set, basically. How you can enter into the raffle and win is donate, join the team. If you can't, and get it onto the links in my bio. You can either Cash App me, which is in the pins on YouTube and Instagram, Zelle, Venmo, or if you want to hand me cash, that as well. Winners will be drawn Sunday after the walk, so you have to, of course, stay to watch us walk or come down and walk with us. It's gonna be cold, so make sure y'all bundle up. Of course, if y'all on the team, y'all gonna have some nice Chef Tarik merch with us, of course. We have some fire stuff this year. That's for next Sunday. The week after that, we have Ross Roots back in the building. You know, that's gonna be a really good show as well. November, Battle of Chefs 3, Chef Taylor versus Chef Diggum. Make sure you guys put in your secret ingredients. We'll do the drawing for that very soon. That's gonna be a great show as well. And also, next month is Thanksgiving, so of course we're doing the Thanksgiving for the homeless, feeding the homeless. So we want to get that started early. Make sure let you guys know if you guys like to start donating and turkeys, canned goods, hats, scarves, gloves for them. If you guys want to come down and help participate and help feeding them, help passing out some of the stuff for them. Of course, you guys are more than welcome. More info as that goes along on that. Man, that was a lot of stuff. I'm like, but of course, aprons, t-shirts, mugs, hats, sauces. You guys can always DM us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok as well. Again, that was a lot of stuff in like 2 minutes that I had to get out. But that's all the things I have. J Yemi. Thank you for being on today.
You're welcome.
First, shout out to DJ Arson for getting us on. Shout out to Tyler for getting DJ Arson to get J Yemi in the building for us today. Let me know any projects you got going on, anything you're working on.
Guys, be on the lookout for me. I've been doing a lot of background acting. I've been following a lot of projects this year. That's another lane for you, brother.
I'm there.
All right.
We didn't even get into the action. I was going to get into it, but we didn't get into it. We're gonna get into it.
Guys, be on the lookout for me. I've been on Law and Order. I've been on Law and Order, Organized Crime. I've also been on, you'll see me in The Best Man when it comes out. You'll see me in The Watcher. Of course, I'm OP in every single scene, but you'll see my big head in there, right? The other thing I wanted to say, I wanted to dedicate a song to the ladies who have, this is Breast Cancer Month. Any of you women out there who have had breast cancer, who've overcome breast cancer, this is for you. Any of you women who are going through a situation right now, it's got a nice little positive song for you ladies to think about and feel inspired.
Look, as we close with that, lad, you got any events coming up along
I
the
do. October 14th, I'm gonna be at Teestown Pub in East Providence with alongside JB, Big D the Comic, and Tyler Hittner. I'll be at Comedy Connection October 23rd, a Sunday showcase. Me and my man Black Sav, shout out to Black Sav. And every Saturday, Blue Walls popping with my man Jay Scratch 148. Shout out to my No Request Radio folk. Also on Saturdays, BRU and Franchise in the Morning on BRU. So
Look, man, you guys have it. Look, of course, we're here every Sunday, 11 a.m. Instagram and YouTube, of course. Thank you guys for watching today. Hope everyone has a great Sunday. Enjoy football. Hope the Patriots can win today. Maybe, hopefully, I don't know. J Yemi, take us out.
Oh my God, we got to come together. That's right. And stand up as one, baby.
Yummy.
You gotta let the light that's in
Got it.
us.
Yummy. DJ Yummy. Yummy. Oh, I thought it was Yummy. I got something for you, bro.
What you got, Bob?
What year was this? 19 what?
I can't remember what year it was.
99.
You brought that off of me.
19, no, I didn't buy it off you. Remember the story?
Nah, I don't remember the story. I can end up with it.
Bring that down for a second. Yummy. This is a good story right here. This is a good story. How did you get this?
I got that for free, brother.
How?
I went to a producer convention.
Was it out?
Huh?
It wasn't out for sale.
It wasn't up for sale. And they had it.
I don't know how to do it.
And I met Chuck D that day. Wonderful brother, Chuck D, shout out to Chuck D. And they had sweepstakes. Put my name in, and I won this for free. Brought it home. Hardly even used it. Here this guy, call me on the phone every day. Yo, sell that to me, man. Sell that to me. Yo, stop bothering me. Eventually, I ended up selling it to her. He still got the box.
I'm gonna tell you the story. This was 99, before it even came out. Nobody had it. The date and everything's right on here. When it came out, what happened was him being a musician, I had a 4-track, multi-track recorder. We did a switch. He gave me this, I gave him the 4-track. Funny part was when we switched, he took the 4-track, turned around, and dropped it. I don't even remember that. He dropped it on my stairs on Oakland Ave.
I don't even remember that.
He dropped it, and I was like, boom, close the door. He picked it up, luckily it worked. Yeah, that was funny as shit. I still got the box. Still got the box.
You remember all the stories. You know that.
That's
Right?
so funny.
Ladies, once again, peace and blessings. Stand up. Stand up. Overcome.
All right, cool.